Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bros, your go-to Detroit sports podcast.
That's right. I'm your boy Jess, a.k.a. A-Game. We're here to bring the latest and the greatest from the D, the 313.
And it's your boy, The Loaf, ready to dive right into the heart of Detroit sports with two of my guys, the Honcho and the A-Game.
Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, PSL Sports, Michigan State, we got you covered.
We'll break down the games, analyze the stats, and give you the hot takes that you didn't know you needed.
Plus, we bring you some amazing guests, legends of the game, Detroit historians, here to share their insights and stories.
So grab a seat on the couch, kick back, and let's get into the action.
Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the Brown Couch Bros.
Man, Brown Couch Bros, we back here every Sunday, man. We wake up, we say our prayers and we head straight here.
That's it.
Brown Couch Bros. Here we go again, man. Love to be here. And we brought on some guests, so we're feeling good about this.
All right, well, should be a good episode today. Looking forward to it, but in customary fashion.
Oh, yeah, we got to tip it off. Toast it up. Toast it up. Man.
Right before we tip it off. Jess, what you got for your tip off today?
Well, man, this is a beautiful day in March. And usually this is a slow period. You would think with football being done, but not this year, man. March Madness is coming. We got we gonna have the NCAA. We got the tournament. First and foremost, we got 313 Day coming.
Yeah, we do.
So we got that coming, man. It's a lot of big stuff happening in March. You can see the women's basketball that's amping up. Juju, they just took over the Big Ten, so we got to talk about that at some point. They balling. And UCLA, March Madness all together is going to be big, man. Again, 313 Day. I'm just excited about it, man, because it's not a slow period. For us, even with football being done, we got the combine, which we talked about last week. We're going to have the NFL free agency is popping off.
Yep.
So it's so much happening in March, which also is going to lead us in the Detroit area to April. April in the D. We got the Pistons.
Opening day.
You got the Pistons in the playoffs. You got the Red Wings fighting. Yep. Opening day. I'm just excited, man. Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Put him in the game. Put him in the game.
Hey, Bernie Biggerstaff, just know I got 3 minutes and 6 fouls to give. AJ Hinch, I can take a curveball off the left shoulder, get on first base. Rob McCullough. Look, I don't know much about skates, but I can sit on the bench and you bring one of them jokers to the sideline, I'll punch them up. So, it's just exciting, man. I'm excited about this, man. It's March Madness. Get your brackets. Go to the NCAA. Look at what's going on with that. We had a taste of it this week. We had Michigan State hit a buzzer beater. Half court buzzer beater. And that was shocking. And then Michigan said, "Hold my beer." The next night, they said, "Hey, I can hit one too." They hit it, So we're gonna have crying cheerleaders. We're gonna have, Sister Jean. We're gonna have everything. We're gonna have what's the Surrender Cobra. People gonna be in the stands like this. It's just big, man. I love March. It's gonna be the prelude to April. And the summer's not slowing down, man, even though we don't have football, and we'll get into a lot of what's going on in the off season, but man, it's big, man. I just love it. I'm excited, and man, that's where I'm at, man. That's my tip off, man. Salute to March 313 Day coming, and our 50th episode is coming too. Y'all better subscribe and check in on that too. So we are getting real close to that. So
thanks for coming, everybody. The show is over.
It took the whole time.
Show's over. Well, what you got for your tip
listen,
off?
man, real quick. I'm not gonna go that long. Shout out to Major League Baseball, man, and the commissioner for finally recognized probably one of the greatest baseball players that ever played the game, in Pete Rose.
Yes.
I thought he should have been in the Hall of Fame probably 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Guy never bet. He said he bet on baseball. technically, but he didn't bet against his team or for his team, but he was a Hall of Famer before he left the game. Before all this came about. So I hope that one day they can look at Barry Bonds' numbers because he was a Hall of Famer before this steroids and all of this stuff came out. So shout out to Major League Baseball for at least moving the needle forward a little bit on those guys. But other than that, man, I'm glad to be here. Like you say, it's March Madness, man. It's time to get into the month of March. Opening day is coming up in April. Hey man, football is king still, so we still got USFL. That's coming up. We got that to talk about, man. So we just gonna be busy up in here.
Yeah, we're gonna be busy, man. We're gonna be busy. And for me, my tip off today is as you can see today, the sun is shining, the snow is melting. And my golf club.
This guy in the golf club.
It's time, baby. It's time, baby. Yeah. I've been to the Dome. I've been on the track, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Golf may come early in Detroit this season.
What's the temperature?
I'm at 5 iron 3 times a week, so.
That's it. There we go. I'm super excited, man. This is my 3rd full season of playing golf.
Nice.
I caught the bug. Listen, don't.
It's easy to do.
I don't just put it in my veins and just shoot me up. Just
right.
Veins, man. I'm excited about golf season, but I'm also excited about the fact that here in Detroit, we're going to have meaningful basketball come April and May.
We are, man. We are. It's been a while. Yeah.
They are going to be a team to be reckoned with. Right now, if the season ends, they'll be playing the Knicks. So I'm just looking forward to meaningful basketball back in the city of Detroit, pro basketball back into the city of Detroit, and onward and upward to what could potentially be a nice run for the Pistons in this playoffs. We'll talk a little Pistons once we get down the road in the show a little later, but just exciting, man. Just exciting time in the city.
It's March, man.
It's March, baby.
Oh, man. The madness begins.
You just said it. March shouldn't be a dead month. Like you said, it shouldn't be a dead month.
Yeah, and it won't be. So this week in sports a year ago, one of the legends, and it's another thing that we got to do, man. You kind of touched on him when you talked a little bit about Pete Rose, but we got to start appreciating our legends while we got them.
Yeah.
LeBron James goes 40,000, the first of 40,000 in the history of the NBA a year ago this week. And he's 40 years old, man. His career is going to come to an end at some point. Father Time's going to knock on the door. But just imagine what this guy has done throughout his career, man. 40,000 points.
He still don't look like he's slowing down.
Don't look like he's slowing down. 10,000 rebounds. He'll be close to 10,000 assists, 4 NBA titles, 4-time finals MVP, 4-time league MVP. Let's appreciate our GOATs while we got them.
Yeah, I agree. Some of the things that that young man has done and will keep doing over the next couple of years, it's just amazing how you can will your body mentally to stay in that type of shape. It takes discipline to do that. You have to have discipline. You have to have a certain mindset to come out for a 22nd year. 20th year, 22nd year in the league. Yeah, man, that's a hard thing to do. Financial commitments and all that, running down that court and, moving the way he moves. So shout out to LBJ, man.
Yeah.
That's big. And then he approaching another milestone soon. I mean, he was a 40 last year. He getting close to 50, eh?
Oh, man, to get 50, that's going to be tough.
How many more years he got?
Well, with Luka... With Luka having another playmaker on the floor,
they can
could give him another year or two.
Because now he's playing off the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and he can. We've seen what LeBron off the ball looks like. I mean, but that thing could be scary, man. Can you imagine this guy at 42 cutting down the nets, man? Are you kidding me?
And it's funny, man. I remember... because I grew up in Cleveland, and a lot of guys in the neighborhood went to Akron, University of Akron. And I remember someone coming to me when he was in the 8th grade and asked me, dude, you ever heard of this kid named LeBron James? I'm thinking it's a college player. I'm like, where's he play? And I'm thinking he's talking football. He's like, no, he's a hooper, man. He goes to middle school. He's in the 8th grade. I was like, 8th grade? Man, go ahead somewhere, bro. 8th grade? He goes, no, I'm telling you, this kid is going to be the next big player in the NBA. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, all these guys are coming to watch him play in middle school. And I'm thinking, he's got to be kidding. A middle schooler or an 8th grader? Fast forward like 2-3 years later, bro. I'm like, wait.
Now he on the cover.
Wait, what? That's the kid? Yeah, man. To have that type of longevity and to live up to the hype, actually live up to the hype and go through this career, man, without having any major incidents. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Family, man, all 9 yards, ambassador carrying the league, doing it responsibly. Yeah, man, hats off to him.
Yeah,
there's a GOAT discussion, but outside of that, man, look, he's one of the greatest.
He's one of the greatest.
Yeah,
he's
one of the greatest.
Well, let's go ahead.
Done it the right way too.
And he's done it the right way. Let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Now we'll get to the GOAT conversation if you want to. there is a clear-cut ranking in the GOAT conversation in my book. But go ahead, Loaf, and introduce our guest.
Well, look, man, I'm glad to have this guy here, man. He's been one of the role models that I watch from afar, man. Just how he go about his business, how he does the training with his kids, his own personal kids and other kids, man. This guy, we met about 15 years ago. My son was about 14, 13. His oldest son, Dez Fitzpatrick, I don't know, Dez might have been about 9. We was at this camp in Wixom. Yeah, Andre Rison was the guy that was there. It was a wide receiver camp, and he come in with this little guy just catching balls, and I kind of had thought back to how when Webb was that age doing the same thing. And so we had built a relationship from there, man. And this guy, man, Ohio State Buckeye guy, Central State alumni, man, businessman here in the metropolitan area. Hey, this guy got 2 kids. It's hard to manage one. He got one that's already in the NFL. He got one that's going to the NFL. This guy's a speed coach. And he route running coach. If you want to learn how to run routes, this is the guy to go to, man. One of my best friends.
Appreciate it, man.
Greg Fitzpatrick. Greg Fitzpatrick.
I appreciate it.
All right, welcome to the Brown Couch, bro.
Welcome to the couch, man. Oh, you want to toast it up again?
We can do that.
We can do that.
I heard that intro.
First time in show history, a double toast.
A double toast. There it is.
No, thanks for the kind words, Webb. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we go back a ways.
Go back a ways, man.
We go back a ways. And to your point, I watched Damon go from, going to the camps and, grinding to the one day in that 7-on-7 camp when he went against Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah, man.
That day.
Yeah, we know.
His trajectory just did.
Boom. Yeah.
And I watched it all, man. And you know how it is, man. It's tough kind of navigating through all of it. I'm not from here. So, when I landed here and landed with and started, implementing Dez into the camp scene, I know a lot of eyebrows were raised and they're looking like, okay, who was he? Who was this dude?
Right.
Who was that kid? Because I'm not from the city. Most of the major programs and the top athletes were from the city. So I had to navigate a lot of that also, man. But at the end of the day, I would always preach to Daz. And the same thing to Christian. You could be a 4-star, you could be a 5-star, you could get a lot of hype. But at the end of the day, it's going to come a time where you have to be good.
Yeah.
You have to be a player. Whether it's the college level or the NFL, guys draft you at the NFL level and draft you in the first round and miss by a mile, but you're going to get opportunities. So you better hurry up and figure it out so you can sustain. But, the NFL is about being able to sustain, man, and grind through the pressures, man. If you're not a first or second round draft choice, then you better be thinking about playing special teams if you want to have going, right? Making your mark and finding a role on the team, man. So, it's been interesting watching your son.
Yeah, man.
I've been a fan.
Oh, big fan day one. Yep.
And the fact that he's just grinding, man, he's still a football player, which lets me know he loves football. I tell him all the time, man, if you love football, keep playing until you can't play anymore. Because one day you're going to look like us. Your legs going to be gone. You're going to stop having football dreams that you left your helmet.
That's it.
And then it's over. Like football is one of those sports, man, that when it's over, it's over.
Yeah, it's really over.
It's really over. Like you said, you just picked up golf, right? So now, you got another sport. You got something else you're chasing, right?
But
football, it's over, man.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go play flag and tear an Achilles.
Well, we're gonna get into you got sons that play. You got sons who one who's a pro, one who's going to be a pro. And on our show, we try to bring a wide variety of conversations to our audience, just about what it's like, one, to be a pro athlete, what's it like also now for you to be a parent in this space. And so you talked a bit about how you train your kids up, and we're going to get into some of the parenting aspects of what you do. But before we do that, me and Webb as Q's, it's important for us to sort of validate some of the stuff that bros tell us. So you played at Central State with a couple of bros that are near and dear to us. And so, we've heard all the stories about these guys. And, the older you get, the better you used to be. So we need you to clear up some things for us on a couple of guys.
Well, I was a starter.
Just two guys.
I was a starter and I made plays.
The first one is Joe Sappho. How good was Joe Sappho in college?
Hey, Joe Sappho was a baller, man.
Hey, man.
And unfortunately, Central State was one of those places, man. And you guys know how it was, like in the late 80s.
Yeah.
There were dudes coming out.
Oh, they were dudes.
Yeah. Dudes got drafted. Eric Williams from Central State ended up being.
Who was the linebacker that played for the Jets? What was his name?
Hugh Douglas.
Hugh Douglas.
Hugh Doug came right after me.
Right.
Eric Williams was a tackle.
Eric Williams.
Big E. He should be getting into the Pro Football
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, soon. But
he got the jacket call.
him, Vince Buck, he was a DB, played opposite of me, was drafted in the second round. But, there were a ton of cats coming out of Grambling and all those schools we beat. But, all the schools we beat back then. It was tough because, when I watch HBCU football now and see that it's not getting the love that it did back when I played, it's kind of heartbreaking. You know what I mean? I played at HBCU Central State, man, and we just had so many dudes that Joe didn't get enough time to shine. But Joe was super fast, super quick, super tough, could catch the football out of the backfield. But, we had a couple running backs who were like Black College All-Americans. Jake Gaither Award, I think it was called. Mark Corbin. Terry Monroe came up right after that. But Joe was an instrumental part in us winning, because I think we only lost maybe 2 or 3 regular season.
Who was the head coach at that time?
Coach Billy Joe.
Billy Joe. Didn't he coach at FAM also?
Right after he coached at FAM.
Yeah.
So Joe is stamped.
Joe is stamped.
Joe, you
got to stamp. You verified.
You good.
Who's the next one?
Big Gene. Eugene Huey.
Big Gino,
you on the clock.
You on the clock, baby.
Here we go.
I'm gonna tell you this. Gino, I think Gino dealt with some injuries while he was there, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember Gino was a big, tough, mean dude when he played, man.
Yeah, he's still mean.
That's my dude, man. That's my dude. But yeah, he and my roommate at the time, John Hill, who's also one of your fraternity brothers. He's from Cleveland. John Hill, they were super tight. And John played running back and didn't really get a chance to shine, because we were so stacked, man.
But I can tell you for a fact, back middle 80s, late 80s, HBCUs, man, so many pros that made it to the NFL. So many guys made it to the NFL from HBCUs, man. And to your point, Central State, y'all wasn't losing too many games.
No, bro. We beat teams 100-0.
Yeah.
We beat FAM. We beat Grambling. I remember Eddie Robinson was talking a lot of trash about Central State being the top Black college football team at the time because, BET had just started showing games on TV. And he said, you haven't played the Grambling State Tigers. We played them in New York in Yankee Stadium in the monsoon, and we spanked that ass, bro. We played in the first Circle City Classic. I played in that game, the first Circle City Classic. And I think we may have played FAM then, because I think it was in Indianapolis. Then one of the Circle City Classics was on the Orange Bowl. I think we played FAM in the Orange Bowl. But yeah, man, during that time, Central State was an anomaly because we went from NCAA Division II And then just to kind of beat the, what was it, Proposition 48?
48.
Yeah, so
48.
Coach Joe moved us to NAIA Division I, where we can bring in dudes. And, and because I didn't play football in high school, I wasn't familiar with the stars and 5-star, 4-star recruiting scene. All of a sudden, we get a dude in and they're like, no, bro, this dude was a 5-star, man. He was supposed to go to the University of Florida, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he's at Central State.
Wow.
And that's how we built a lot of our roster.
Yeah.
But fortunately for me, man, I was able to just kind of carve out a role for myself.
Nice.
But Gino and Sappho,
Stamp.
you can stamp them.
Stamp them.
All right, cool. Y'all made it. Y'all made it.
Sure, that's my word.
All right, so let's get into some of the parenting aspect of what you do. I mean, obviously, having sons that are pro athletes. I mean, what is that like from a parent's perspective?
It's not as glamorous as most people who don't have professional athletes for kids. It's not as glamorous as people think. You know what I mean? It's a lot of tough work, man, because if you're not someone who's drafted in the first 2 rounds, like I said a little earlier, then your journey could go left, it can go right, but at the end of the day, you got to stay focused and try to outlast people and have resilience. Like there's a lot of things that my older son has gone through that I know has folded a lot of kids, because you know how the NFL is. It's that roster's churn. Damon probably went through
he went through it for 2 years with the Titans.
Yeah. And then at some point, you decide whether you want to just keep on grinding and fight through the practice squad, or you just want to quit playing and maybe go coach, or you just done with football because they soured your taste and your love for the game. And that's probably one of my biggest challenges, is always being dad/psychiatrist. I don't coach them anymore because they're learning.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, they're learning way more
That's a good point.
than I forgot. You know what I mean? Like Dez is learning so much because he's a student of the game and he wants to coach as soon as he's done. He wants to coach. Like that's all he ever wanted to do. And I can't teach him much about football outside of the mental part of it, right? And the emotional part of it. Because at the end of the day, you're still dad first. And you can sense when things are bothering them. You got to know when to step back, just let them do their thing. How to listen to certain things where it's just like, hey, Daz, how did practice go? It was all right. Okay, I don't want to talk to that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
How's your golf swing?
Yeah.
Then he'll send me a 15-page text.
Right.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, man, you think it's going to be a certain way. When you're coaching your kids and developing them, and then all of a sudden it's just like, damn, this is still work. I thought it was just gonna be all, going to the games, happy, and then you go to the games, and you try your hardest to just watch the game for the game, right? And that's impossible to do as a parent, man. It's impossible to watch the game and not root for your kid. It's impossible to watch the game and go, oh shit, he was wide open. Get him the ball. What are you doing? That's tough. It's hard not to do it, but I've managed to, control myself, of course, at the game. I talk like this sometimes. You gotta do that. But not only that, man, you just have to understand at the end of the day, you gotta be a parent first, because this football stuff is gonna be over at some point. And if you've driven a wedge between you and your child when it comes to football because you're tougher on him than you should be, or you want it worse than he does, or you understand things better than he does, so you try to jam it down his throat. You have to keep things in perspective. I always talk to them about the 3 Ps: patience, positivity, but the most important is perspective. Keeping everything in perspective. Like, why did you get cut? Okay, well, let's look at it. Let's look at the part that had nothing to do with you, that you couldn't control, and let's look at the couple things you may have been able to control. And to be able to talk to them about the things they could have controlled and be able to put it in such a way that your kid doesn't resent you or think that you're just like, jumping all down his throat. That's the toughest part to me, man. And then having 2, it's always like, well, both of y'all play the same position. I hope you don't end up on the same team. Well, you are 2 different players, so maybe both of you can make the roster if you end up on the same team. Who knows?
But you came up with a good point, and we didn't touch on it when my son was here last week when we filmed, but just to be in the psychologist part of it as a parent, you know, and to your point, and you hit it right on the head. You really don't. There's no more. I can't teach you anything else about football.
No,
You're right.
Nothing.
Right.
No.
Right.
They know more about football than I'll ever know.
our shit is from the 90s and 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but I can remember countless times, even to this day, when Damon calls home, you know, and like you say, you know your kid.
Yeah.
He might call home to talk about something off the cuff, but he really want to talk about, hey, they doing me wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, I should have been on this roster. You know, and you just got to sit back and listen. You know, you don't really want to say anything negative. You know, to your point, let's talk about the things. Why did you get cut?
Yeah.
You know, but you just want to sit back and listen and be a mind for them to, your mind to absorb what they're doing, to take some pressure off what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I only had one. You got two guys. So I can imagine, you know, young Christian coming up through the ranks, he can already kind of see he got a program or a diagram, you know, how it's going to work or how it should work. But still, he got to go through his own journey.
Yeah,
he does.
You know, he got to fight his own war. So, but, you know, he got a blueprint with his big brother and Dez. So we'll see how that work out.
That's interesting you said that because he talks to Dez a lot more. Well, no, I'll take that back. He talks to Dez about different things that he talks to me about. You know, like when Dez and I talk about Christian, I always tell Dez, well, Dez, I'm not going to talk to him about this because you can give him the perspective on this part of it because you know it a whole lot better than I do. And I think I know, but I'm sure you really know, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll talk to him about other things.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
So for our audience, talk a bit about your son, what team he plays for, who he is. They may not know. We know, but they
Yeah.
My oldest is Dez Fitzpatrick. He was drafted. He went to University of Louisville, played with Lamar. Had a phenomenal freshman year. He was like freshman All-American. He had like 700 yards and 9 touchdowns as a freshman. You know, blew up at the top of everybody's radar for the NFL draft for his class. Then all of a sudden, Lamar scooted and, you know, the quarterback played from there and just kind of disappeared, right? And there wasn't the transfer portal then.
Yeah.
Because believe you me,
We would have been gone.
Been in it. Yeah.
If the transfer portal and the NIL and all that, he would have. Yeah, he probably would have dipped.
Yeah.
But he stayed there and just toughed it out, man. Had a few seasons, you know, where he just put up numbers, made big plays, but ended up being drafted in the 4th round with Tennessee Titans. Went to the Senior Bowl, was offensive MVP.
I remember that. He was. Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
Ran a 4.4 at his pro day, did well. Then got drafted by a team who, at the end of the day, I think they drafted him to make him something that he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think they drafted him because they wanted to put on 10, 15 pounds and make him into like this, you know, physical blocking, insert blocking wide receiver. Yeah. And, you know, Dez, you know, Dez always been a route running,
route runner, one of the best route runners I've seen.
Release, separation. And when he got there, they took away like his releases and wanted him to play a certain way. And he got a little discouraged, but at the end of the day, you know, he was released. He was there 2 years and then decided he didn't want to go back. They wanted to resign me. Didn't want to go back. Went to Pittsburgh. Was there 2 years. This last year, he averaged like 26.5 yards a catch. Preseason. Had a phenomenal preseason.
Oh, I remember when they played the Lions. He
70-yard catch.
Yeah.
And they cut him. And nobody could believe it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I told him, I said, listen, man, there's going to be things you can control, things you can't control. You just did. You had a phenomenal camp, did everything you need to do. And there's other reasons why you're not on that roster. So let's go somewhere else. So Harbaugh signed him to the Chargers. And, you know, you get there, you don't know the playbook. So, you know, it's the season. And he's grinding on the practice squad, making plays, doing his thing. And my main thing was just keeping him focused. Or just keeping him positive, not focused. Because, you know, he's going to show up. He's going to go to work. He's going to be on time. He's going to do all that stuff. You know, he's just programmed like that. Even if he's pissed and, you know, hates the situation, you know, he's just like a robot. He's just going to do what he needs to do to be a pro. And got an opportunity to play the last game. They wanted to re-sign him immediately. So, you know, his wideout coach told him what they expect out of him when he show up. So he's in Tampa grinding, you know, working to, working to make sure he can make an impression when he gets here. Because this, it might be one of his last shots.
Yeah.
It's year 5 for him. So he gotta do something.
And as an athlete yourself,
Yeah.
and you had some short stints in professional sports, do you think you got an edge a bit on most parents because you sort of live that experience, had that experience, and so to be able to impart that on your kids, do you feel like you had a little bit of an edge in that regard?
Yes and no. I used to think it was more of an edge than it actually is. Do you know what I mean? Because because recruiting is just so different now, right? Yeah. You know how recruiting is now, man. You can have a kid that's a 5-star and you look at him 1,000 times and like, 5-star?
You just don't see it.
Yeah. And we all play. And it's not being biased. You're just like, 5-star? And, a lot of times, man, with any industry, man, that, there's good organizations, bad organizations that are good at the little things, like the Patriots were for years, and then bad organizations, I can't be calling out teams nowadays because I can't.
Right.
Careful.
You got one in and one coming.
Look, all these organizations and all these front offices are phenomenal. But you know what I mean, man. And for me, I used to think that it was an advantage until I saw the landscape of how recruiting goes and other things, man. And it's just like, I think it's more of an advantage psychologically.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah, it's more of an advantage psychologically because I do know for a 100% fact is that if I hadn't gone through the process, neither one of them would be where they are.
Yeah, that's right.
And my son who's still playing, he's still playing because I think he's good enough, number one, but he's still playing because I know what buttons to push to just keep his head above water. So he doesn't quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So the questions I was going to ask, you pretty much answered a lot of them. But you as an individual, as a parent, what have you learned over these last 10 or 15 years dealing with dads, other pro athletes that you train? Because you've trained quite a few pro athletes in the NFL, working with Christian over here now and in the future. What's some of the things that you could share with other parents who have kids coming down the chute or who think they potentially had a possibility to play at a high level, whether it's college or pro? What's some of the things you've learned as a parent?
To relax. Relax.
RELAX.
I had to learn how to just like draw this hard line of demarcation between dad and coach. Do you know what I mean? I had to do it. And I had to understand and have a lot of like self-reflection and self-awareness when it's just like, okay, at the end of the day, when you talk about your kid and you've got that hard line delineation, if I'm talking about my kid, but I've got on my Coach Fitz hat, some people may look and go, yeah, he gassing his kid. And I've had that for years. I've had people look at me since Little League, and I knew certain things dads could do at 9 years old. I'm like, hold on, that's a little different. And when you've been an athlete and you've done things, you can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah. You can see somebody do something and go like, whoa, that was special. Everybody can't do that. Right. So I saw him do little things and it made me go, well, you know what? If I commit myself to fostering, what I see, yeah, he'll play on Sundays. Will he be a first-round draft choice? I don't know. Who knows? Will he play forever? Who knows? But he's got something that if I foster it and I groom it, you know what I mean, and I develop it, he should be there. So I learned to draw that hard line in the sand, Coach Fitz, Dad, and also to just relax, man, because it's so freaking emotional. I ain't got to tell you, man.
Yeah, you're right. I was watching,
sitting in the stands watching your kids play.
It's some of the most grueling things, man. And you hear people talking, and then you rooting your kid on, but then you also trying to coach them. The best thing to do is just chill out, watch them, encourage them, clap, take a mental note of something that happened. We'll talk about that a little later. But man, just really be supportive. And that's hard to do, particularly when you play the sport yourself.
Oh, for sure.
The best advice that was ever given to me, and I want to give him a shout out, Brother Marwin Matthews. We coached together when Damon was playing for the West Side Steelers. And I was getting on Dame, and I always tell the story. And then he was like, "Coach, I got him." And after that, I kind of was hands off on Damon and stuff like that. But one of the best advice, one of the best things I ever did with my son, I coached my son to practice and home. That was a 10-minute ride.
Yeah.
After we got home,
That's it.
we didn't talk football no more.
That's it. Yeah.
On the way, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to run harder, man. You're lacking. You're slowing. You're loafing. After practice, hey, man, you could have did a little bit better. Hey, you did this great, man. But once we got home,
over.
It was over.
I would watch my son practice and watch both of them practice. And I had this thing where I would just whistle, right? And I just had hand signals, right? I wouldn't go to practice and be trying to coach them from the gate. I'm watching practice and I'm like, well, I know what your 100% looks like. Your coach may not because he thinks you're good because you're better than, pretty much a lot of these guys out here. But if I see that you're not practicing hard, because I'm a firm believer, like I love the game. I'm a full believer in the game. I'm a full believer in work ethic produces results. I was a walk-on. Like I made myself into a football player. So I know what it takes to just like put your head down and just grind. Now I wasn't that damn good, but still I had a work ethic. And so I would just whistle. I go, psh. That's it. That means pick it up. Yeah. Like pick it up. Or he may do something or they may have a running back period. And I'd whistle and I go, work on your releases, work on your releases while they're running, through the A and B gap and you're out here. Don't just stand there, bro. Work on your releases and things like that, man. And one other thing I learned is to not take things personally from people on the outside, like other people who don't understand our perspective. Because when you have a kid who plays, your perspective is totally different. And there's other people who don't have kids who play, and they may have an opinion. Whether it's their honest opinion, uninformed opinion, they may think it's informed, but it's like, well, bro, you never played and you haven't gone through this journey. Why are you sitting here telling me what I should be doing or insinuating? And I'm, playing daddy ball because I'm being positive and I'm saying like, oh, my kid's gonna play on Sunday, bro. He's gonna get a shot. I believe it. I believe we put the work in. You put the work in, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get a shot.
So Greg, I got a question, man. How involved do you get in on the business side with everything that's going on? You got one in, one coming.
What I try to do is, especially with my oldest, now that he's at the age that he is, and he and Damon, a few years apart, but what that age is. It's like Dez, he feels like he has I'm not going to say know everything, but he feels like he has a grasp on things now. And in the beginning, I would be involved in almost everything. Like his agent would text and he'd do a group text with me, him, and Des, right? His accountant, same thing. Me, him, and Des. Emails, same thing.
You don't get the accountant text no more, huh?
No, I still get the money text. I don't have the account number. So
right. You changed your bank account? Yeah.
It's so funny because when he came home, he was like, Dad, I have way more money than I originally thought. I said, what do you mean? Like, you don't check your account? He goes, no, but I'm a lot more liquid than I thought. And I go, how much money you got? He was like, a lot.
A lot.
I said, because I got an idea. I said, how much? He's like, it's a lot.
Right.
I said, oh, we just hit another crossroads.
Right. No, you ain't divulging that. Right.
No.
Yeah.
So
your mind off my back.
Right. Your mind off my back.
Like that is my bag. Set me up for it.
Right.
But I what I do now, and it's funny because I just had a conversation with my wife. I told her, I said, listen, when Des asks questions, I'll answer them. But I'm not trying to provide advice anymore. You know what I mean? Because I do know he's super particular about his money. Like he's actually the most frugal person I've ever met in my life. Which is a good thing.
That's not a bad thing.
My son is like that. David is like that too.
Oh, he's super frugal.
Yeah.
This kid still asks me for my frequent flyer miles or some of my Hilton points. I'm like, bro, what?
What are you talking about here?
Yeah, what do you mean?
What are we talking about? Right.
Yeah, but with Christian, you know, it's a different story because, you know, his mind is just strictly on just the grind, you know, so I help him with everything else. And, you know, and people on the outside, you know, his agents and people like that may originally think like, okay, well, you got to go through the dad for everything. His dad is controlling everything. It's like, no. My son don't want to deal with that stuff now, and he'll let me know when he wants to deal with it. I just always say that about dads. Like, you know, dads will call me about everything. Like, hey, dad, here's a screenshot. My accountant sent me this. Bro, call the lady back. It's just like, no, dad, you do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. What am I going to say? No.
Right.
It's like he'll mature and get to a point where at some point he's just like, no, Dad, I got this.
And that's where he at. Sounds like he's there.
Sounds like he's there.
He's there.
So, Greg, one more from me, man. So we got a lot of fan base, PSL, PAL League. People growing up, they see their kids, they want them to do well. What advice would you give to the parents as far as raising young athletes? Coming through, you know, the do's and don'ts.
Yeah, I would just say, don't focus so much on like the hype. Do you know what I mean? Like the articles, like the, you know,
rankings.
The rankings. You know, I would retweet the articles. Like I remember, man, I was so bad. I took Dez on a freaking trip across the country for youthranked.com or something when he was like 7, 8 years old. Probably spent like $2,000 or something crazy. Like, none of that stuff matters, man.
It don't matter.
Like
it don't matter.
40 time and middle school, even high school has 40 time. Doesn't really matter unless there's a school who won't recruit him unless they see a clock on him. And typically you don't get a clock unless you go and you're running track, right? But even at some of those camps, man, those guys, they do some of the sneakiest stuff, man.
They do.
Some of them guys who are working, man.
Yeah.
I would just say, don't worry about the hype. Focus on the training, making sure that they train and they really love the game. And then when football season is over, as a family, we used to just go skiing and do all our other stuff. Like we weren't even watching football games on TV, man, because they were so inundated with football the entire time. Find a good program like a Sound Mind, Sound Body. Like Sound Mind, Sound Body, you know, and Curtis over there, they do a phenomenal job from the educational standpoint and the coaching and development standpoint, you know, and find people who are advocates of your kid, who are outside of your household, who you can trust. You know what I mean? Who you can trust. And I believe, you know, a program like that you can trust. There's some out there that, you know, are better than others, but that's a program that you can trust, that they're going to, and enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. If the journey is so stressful, because at the end of the day, you're thinking about the end result. You know, I always tell my kids, it's about the journey. I tell my daughter that. I said, it's about the journey. Stop thinking about the end result and just think about how much fun you're having pursuing your goal, pursuing your dream. Because if you don't enjoy the grind, then you may as well hang it up. Even if you pass customs and, you know, get to that Division I program, you know,
you got to enjoy the grind.
Look, you have a walk.
I always say the grind is real.
Like me to come in and take your spot.
And that can happen.
That happens all day, every day.
Greg, well, man, listen, I appreciate your perspective and everything, and congratulations to you and your family and the athleticism that they're showing, and you know, good luck in the future with that. We gonna move and uncustomary. I'm gonna toast the.
Oh, you want to toast it up again? We doing the trifecta. That's what we doing now. Man,
times toasted today.
Congratulations to you and the family, man. And take it from there, man. Let's go.
But we want to talk a little bit of NFL, talk a little bit of NBA, if you will. So a huge trade goes down last night. Debo off from the 49ers to the Commanders, team that beat our Lions.
And the Lions got them on the road this year. They got to go to Washington.
On the road, man.
Yeah.
What do y'all think this will do? I mean, it's going to be an inter-division rivalry for you.
It just pushed me further down.
Now you got Terry McLaurin and Debo on opposite sides of the field.
Scary Terry.
Terry. What do you think this does for the Commanders moving forward?
What you think?
Look, man, the NFC is stacked already, right?
Right.
And we were hoping that, the Lions, let's just hope that the Lions, their window isn't closed, but this makes it a lot tougher, man, because
It
Debo,
does.
Debo is such a weapon because he can do so much. You know what I mean? Like, and then you got a mobile quarterback back there who has an arm and can throw the ball. Now you've got a guy who could potentially run with the football and a pass catcher and a tough wide receiver in the run game as far as being a physical blocking guy, man. Like they just got
better. They just got 100% better.
They just got a lot better, man.
Yep.
That's scary in the NFC.
Yep, you're right.
And so like the Lions are gonna have to level up. I think the Eagles are still gonna be trying to make a move with somebody like a Myles Garrett or something.
They trying to get it.
Like if you're in the NFC, you can't sit still, man. You can't sit tight because shots fired, bro.
Yeah, that was it.
That was the first shot.
Stafford re-signed with the Rams.
Yeah.
He renegotiated his deal, so he'll be back in LA. Washington, once again, like Fitz said, they're gonna be tough. Yeah. The Lions, man, I think offensively we're solid, but on the defensive side of the ball, like you said, we can't let a team like Philly. We can't let Philly get Myles Garrett, man. No. We can't let Washington get Myles Garrett, man.
You can't let DK get Green Bay get DK.
Exactly.
Yeah,
man.
That's on the table.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. We got to move, man. We got to make a move.
Yeah.
We got to make a move soon because what will happen is that sort of energy that we had coming out of last year, this past season, that's gonna fade if you're not steadily improving the roster and like at the forefront and letting the league know that, look, we not playing games over here in Detroit. We're making moves, we're spending money, and we're trying to win a championship.
Do we have a new DC yet?
They promoted the guy that was already
internal hire.
No, they hired the guy. He used to be with us back in the day, Joe Morton. Yeah, he went to Denver
on the Broncos.
Right. That's the offense, and they brought him back. But he has worked up under. He know the system. Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's kind of like we at church today. You know how you go to church and the pastor start talking and you like sit there and you say, he talking directly to me. Y'all say, in the NFC, you can't just sit back and make moves. And I'm sitting here as a Cowboy fan like, we just sitting here not making moves. Y'all talking to me when y'all say that.
Jerry.
Hey, but look, man, y'all don't need to make a move because your quarterback said you right there.
No, we did that, man. No, don't do that. Well, man. So, but that's going to be big. I mean, you got playoff teams trying to get better, and that's what Washington did.
Yeah,
that's what Green Bay looking to do.
A fifth round draft pick, man.
That's not.
That's not a lot.
That's not crazy.
It's not.
Wow.
So, do the 49ers know something we don't know about Debo?
I mean, that's gonna put some more fire into Debo because he started losing his luster. Yeah. To me, he did. Watching. I mean, they had a lot of injuries, so he probably just downplayed his game a little bit. But I think that right here, he's gonna man, I got another opportunity.
Or does that mean? Well, we can't never predict injuries, but is McCaffrey gonna come back 100%? Because you lose that weapon. Is McCaffrey gonna be 100%?
They got the kid, the wide receiver from Georgia.
Ayuk. They talking about trading Ayuk now. Yeah. He's back on the market.
So it sounds like a fire sale.
Rebuild mode.
And then you never know what's going on within an organization, man. Like we look at NFL football, from afar and we just think that, everybody who's in charge, they're good people and know what they're doing and know how to manage people. Then at the end of the day, man, they're just people, man. And sometimes, you get guys who don't want to be in the organization because coach over there is bit of a a-hole.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Or GMs and owners just get it wrong. They just get it wrong.
Get it wrong.
Yeah. Or just don't match the scheme. Yeah.
Right. So, little Pistons talk. We talked about a little bit earlier, but we got a coach who I think is going to be Coach of the year.
It's looking that way.
I mean, is he your pick for Coach of the year thus far?
If I had to give it to somebody right now, it would be Bernie. The Pistons playing at a high level, man. They lost the other night to Denver, but they had won 8 in a row.
Then they came right back, though.
Came right back and won.
What you even consider, though?
Well,
they talking about your boy out there in L.A.
I mean, J.J. Redick, it's going to be tough. I mean, look, a first-time head coach. Never been on the sideline.
Yeah, but he has LeBron. He has Luka.
You got two of the top 5 players in the world.
Right.
In the world, Fred. In the world.
Right.
That helps. But the pressure of being in LA, though. The pressure of being in LA and winning. I mean, that's an NBA championship or bust franchise.
Yeah. But you know, JJ got that dog in him. He got that personality, man, that he don't give a
yeah, he don't. Yeah, he don't.
You know what I mean?
He don't.
Yeah, I think that helps him in LA.
And it's perfect for that group. I mean, Luka brings an edge. I didn't know he had this much edge. Like, Luka is like, he want all the smoke.
Yeah.
And like, he's not afraid of anybody.
Yeah.
And anybody can get it. Like, that is a attitude that has really been missing from the Lakers. I mean, obviously, AD didn't have it. You know, LeBron is a different kind of player, but to have a guy like that on your team with that kind of edge.
And that skill and that size, man, that can play.
Yeah. And is he in shape? Oh, you talking about LeBron?
No, Luka.
Oh, yeah. If the guy dropped 20 pounds, we never know what he could be. Well, he's already great.
Listen, man, sometimes guys is best where they are. Man, like, if 245 is his
that's his playing weight,
then that's just his killer weight. It don't mean it's mine.
Right.
I might need to be 220, right, on a regimen. But for him,
but you know,
a beer and a cigarette might be enough. Like that's
like
you kind of just made me a Luka fan.
I know exactly what you're saying. But then again, too, remember this too, man. Luka's a really young guy, and we don't know how LeBron and his professionalism and his regimen
has rubbed off.
Workout and his meal plan, is that going to rub off on him this year and then the offseason? We don't know.
Yeah.
Or like you said, is he going to come back and he is who he is?
He is who he is. I mean,
who he is. Yeah.
We'll see, man. But I think again, to Jess's point earlier in this tip off, man, there's a lot of exciting things happening in the league, man. And for the first time in a long time, I don't know who's going to win the NBA championship.
Yeah, now that's good.
I really don't know.
They'll let you know the parity is there.
It's there. It's there. I mean, the Cavs and Oklahoma City are at the top of their respective
I didn't see the Cavs coming.
Oh, I didn't see the Cavs coming either.
Team, man. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, they've really rejuvenated that thing. Well, let's get into it. Have a little fun, right? We're all dads, and I think
yes, sir.
The guys that we're going to talk about, some of the famous professional dads in professional sports, we may or may not have been accused of some of these things in our day. Right. But we compiled a list of about 5 pro sports dads from the past and from the present. And some of these guys have been controversial over time. But I wanted to kind of get you all's perspective, and we're going to rank them. From best to worst sports dad. All right, y'all ready for this?
Go ahead.
Ready.
The ultimate dad competition. So the first person is Marv Marinovich. This is Todd Marinovich's dad. Created America's first test tube athlete. Banned Todd from watching cartoons. Put him on a strict diet, no sugar, no processed food. Started his training regimen when he was just a month old. And a relationship between Marv and Todd was depicted in the Marinovich Project video from ESPN. So that's Marv Marinovich.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many is it?
That's 5 of them.
It's 5 of them.
5 of them. Okay.
That's the first one.
He's not on your top list.
He's fine.
We can start from 5 and go up. He's 5.
He tried to make a player, man.
Hey, man.
I like
our
test
favorite, LeVar Ball. Dad of Alonzo, Melo, and Jello.
That's my dude.
I love LeVar. Yeah.
Chose his wife because she was tall and athletic. And said, we're going to make some good pro basketball babies.
I'm mad at that.
Claimed that he could beat MJ on national TV and one-on-one.
Marketing genius.
Trained his sons to hoop and made claim that they will all play in the NBA one day. Created the Big Baller brand and ultimately had all 3 play professional basketball, and 2 of them were drafted in the top 5 of the NBA.
Wow.
All right.
We're going to hold off on that one.
Yeah,
Hold off on that. But Marinovich
We
is
know
5. Right.
So Richard Williams, dad of Serena and Venus Williams, set out to create tennis stars. That was all. He had created a second family just to create tennis stars. Taught his girls tennis by reading books and watching videos. Quit his job and poured every dime he had into his girls' training. Didn't play about his daughters. Didn't play about them at all. So when media tried to press him on their play, their self-confidence, and even the way that they wore their hair, he defended them.
Okay.
His training of his daughters and what they went through was depicted in the award-winning movie King Richard.
Okay.
So we all saw that.
Yep.
So that's the second guy, Richard Williams.
Okay.
Earl Woods, Tiger Woods' dad. Started training Tiger at 2 years old, using military tactics because Earl was a military guy from the Army.
Yep.
Focus on repetition and mental focus. I mean, we saw that in Tiger's play, obviously.
Yeah.
And obviously, ultimately pushed Tiger to be one of the greatest golfers of all time.
If not the.
If not the. You're right.
And my favorite, William Sanders, dad of Barry Sanders, your boy.
My guy. Love Barry. Greatest running back ever played the game.
William Sanders gave birth to one of the greatest greatest running backs to ever play the game, Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders starred at Oklahoma State. When Oklahoma State played rival Oklahoma, Barry's dad rooted for Oklahoma.
And he still say Jim Brown. Greatest running back ever played the game. Right. Over his son.
After Barry's career with the Lions, when he was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, when interviewed by reporters, his dad said that Jim Brown, and not his own kid, was the greatest running back
of all time.
Of all time. So we got Marv Marinovich, LeVar Ball, Richard Williams, Earl Woods, and William Sanders. Let's rank them.
Well, you want me to go first? My ranking is this. We already know Marinovich is 5. I'm gonna put Pop Sanders at 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna go LeVar Ball at 3. I'm gonna go Richard. No, I'm gonna go Tiger at 2, and I'm gonna go with King Richard at 1. It's just a lot of. For one, he dealing with two black females.
Yeah.
In a white sport, from Compton. But let's not get it twisted. They were born here.
Born here.
In the state of Michigan.
Yeah, they were.
The adversity he had to face, the things he had to go to get into pro tennis clubs.
Yeah.
The training, not having the money, not having the expenses. So in an era where it wasn't a lot of black females playing tennis.
Yeah.
And we can say that about Tiger also, but I'm gonna rank King Richard at 1, and I'll go with Tiger Woods' dad at 2.
Okay.
Yeah, my list is pretty similar, and a lot of the same reasons when it comes to King Richard. So we all agree that Marinovich is as a
Yeah. So he's not in the group.
Yeah.
I'd have put you at 5. Put you at 5. I'll be at 5, and you be at 5, right?
You can replace one of these with yourself.
Right, well, there it is.
Oh man, right? You at 5.
5A and 5B.
Right, whatever. Right, yeah. We'll do that.
Yeah. Number four, Barry Sanders pops. Barry was a phenomenal athlete, man. So I'll say he's number 4. Number 3, this is where it starts getting a little tough, man. I'm gonna say, damn, this is real hard. Because I believe that what LeVar Ball did was so incredible.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah.
Because of the scrutiny that he had to deal with because of social media and all the platforms that are out now, from ESPN to Fox, and then you go to social media, and for him to be so vocal and so out front with it.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and for him to just stand 10 toes down, not change who he is, go toe-to-toe with anybody in a debate, and will look at you and say, hey, my sons are going to play in the NBA. All 3 of them.
Yep,
I don't care what you tell me. All 3 of them. And for him to believe in it, and I know what kind of scrutiny I got for my little situation, man. Just imagine the scrutiny he got, from his situation. Yep. So I'm going to say he's 2. I'm going to put Serena Williams' dad at 3. And then at number 1, I'm putting
Earl Woods.
No, I'm sorry. I'm flipping it. Earl Woods at 3. And at number 1, Serena and Venus is that. And yeah, and it's because of the sport, man.
The sport.
When I tell you the sport,
Yeah,
man, that sport. Yeah, because I've been around tennis a little bit, and I've been to the U.S. Open, just based on, the job and the career that I have, man, I've had to be around it. And trust me, bro, it's not the most comfortable place for us
to be.
Yeah, it's not. And for him to just be the type of guy who would sit up and watch an interview and then just get up and stop the interview. It's just like,
absolutely.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. Don't ask her that.
Yep.
Because, he sees it. He's dealt with it. And, his generation, just like my pops, man, they experienced things that I never experienced.
Right.
Now, I experienced some things and I felt some things, dealing with corporate America and my job in the whole 9 yards. But the stuff that he had to have felt, and then think about his daughters, man.
Right.
Just for them to have that resilience and for him not to bend, I put him number 1, Ball number 2. Because I love LeBron.
Tiger 3.
Tiger
Earl
3.
3. Yeah.
Earl 3. 4.
Yeah. And me and you 5.
Me and you 5.
What you got, Jess?
What you got, Jess?
My list don't change too much from that. I'm gonna go from 1 to 5. Richard, because again he had the 2 girls, the sport itself. I got to go through Tiger, man. I'm gonna go Tiger because Tiger as well had to.
He did
go through a tough sport, but he only had one to push through.
Right.
So that's why I went with that. Look, give me LeVar, man. The marketing genius that he is, that he put out front, and especially using the media, the social media, all the platforms. The timing was good, and they starting to show that they all should be there. In their perspective in their perspective lanes, and then after that, Sanders. I got to go Sanders. But. I'm still, it would be tough for me to root against, you want your kid to do well, but to be on that sideline. I mean, I know you kind of went through it, sort of, with the Michigan, Ohio State thing, but you conform solely to Ohio State now, but he did. He's definitely done that. And then my number 5 is then you 2 guys. Point blank.
Right. Who even thought of putting Marinovich on the list? That was you.
I knew it would spark some controversy.
Okay.
Look, I don't mind being last on that list.
We got a couple of dads around in the metropolitan area.
That should be on that list. Look, I'm gonna go in somewhat of a different direction. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go from 5 on up. So Marv was OD, so he's 5.
Right.
That was just ridiculous. I'm gonna spare the 2 of y'all. I won't even do y'all like that. Will Sanders, bro, you can't root against your kid, dog. That's nasty work.
Yeah.
You can't do that, man. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Now here's where it gets tricky for me. It becomes a numbers game from this point. I'm gonna go Earl at 3. He had 1. He had Tiger.
Right.
And he also had access. Although, it's a predominantly white sport and it's tough to get into those country clubs, he had some access and some opportunity, right? And so, he had time. He was an older dad, so he had time with Tiger. So I'm gonna put Earl at 3. I'm gonna put Richard at 2 because he had 2. Also a tough sport, and it's tough to navigate. And this was Richard's second time around with his that second set of kids, that second family after his first kids were born. So he had 2 girls he was trying to get right, and we saw it play out in the movie, all the stuff that he had to deal with. Yes. So it's really 1B, but I'm gonna put Richard at 2. I'm gonna put LeVar at 1 because I just got respect for people who say they're gonna do something
and they do it.
And do it 3 times over.
3 times over, right?
And so to have 2 of your sons,
multimillionaires.
Forget about the money because the money's there. but they were both drafted in the top 3 of the NBA draft.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
2 sons?
When you put it in that perspective.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on. Lonzo goes 2. And LaMelo goes 3. I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, bro.
I mean, that's just tough to do, man. And
I'm not mad at that.
he sort of changed the way we look at parents. You talked about the marketing. He's been talking about his kids since they were in high school and middle school and saying that they were going to do these things. And to actually do it and break the mold and then challenge Mike to one-on-one and say he beat him.
Right.
Come on, man. Y'all call it crazy.
You know, get his foot chopped off and still say he can beat it.
Still say he can beat it.
He played he played for the Carolina Panthers.
Did you know that? Play a little football.
Play a little football.
Play a little football, man. But you know, that's my list. That LeVar.
I got. Hold on. Before we close, I got one more guy that I think that we should mention is Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad. He has Amon-Ra, and he got the other son, Equanimus. Yeah. So he's another guy who was a professional bodybuilder. And raised his 2 sons up. And of course, we know what Amon-Ra is doing here in the city of Detroit. So let's replace us 2, take us off 5, and Marinovich off and put him at 5.
I like that. We do that.
I think you did that just in case we ever run into him and get him on the show. You don't want him to lock you up.
Oh, man. Hey, matter of fact, same draft as Dez. He always mentions your son's name because he got that list. He got the list. He's that son on the list.
Here's a funny
part. What did Dez say about that?
Look, when Dez was coming out, I was telling everybody, damn, I hope the Lions draft him. Everybody thought I was out of my mind, praying that the Lions draft him. And Tennessee, I don't even know why they did this, bro. They traded away picks to move up to get draft Dez.
Yeah. Right.
Dez probably would have been a Lion. From what I've heard.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Such is history.
Such is history, man.
If not for them dads.
Look, I said something that made him. I screwed up.
Right.
Well, it's been another episode of the Brown Couch Bros.
Hey, man, we had a good one.
Fellas, I appreciate the
great
invite.
show.
Man.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
This was good.
Hey,
stuff.
Like, subscribe, share this episode, man, and we are out of here.
Out of here.
Peace.